Yo, it's SmallmouthCrush. Today's video is all about managing your fishing equipment. Specifically in this video, my bait casting reels. I got a lot of them. I'm going to share with you guys how I find the perfect reel and how I manage, take care of my investment. That's all coming up. Alright, so I have a lot of money invested in bait casting reels. And I have, specifically, I actually have 25 of them. I do a lot of guiding, I do a lot of fishing, and each reel has, a specific rod that's assigned to perform a specific technique. Because of that, it's a big investment. At 200 bucks a piece, that's $5,000 in equipment. And I want to be able to take care of that investment, and I also want to make sure I have top of the line equipment and reels that actually work and don't give me any problems, because I do fish a lot and it's important. So how do we actually manage that? Well, every 2 or 3 years, I like to flip my reels. I'm going to break down how I actually pick out a bait casting reel, why I like specific companies and the different reels that they manufacture. And we're going to talk about how I upgrade my reels from time to time. So over the years, I used a lot of different bait casting reels. There was one point I had probably 3 or 4 different brands that I used on my rods at the same time. And I just found throughout the years that I really like being able to use just one specific brand and have that same feel, whether it be throwing a crankbait or a jig. And I just wanted to stick with all the reels the same. That's how I do it with my spinning rods and my spinning reels. And it's just something I've decided that I wanted to do with my bait casters. So I don't have a whole bunch of different brands. I have one specific brand. I started out throwing a lot of Revos back in the day, and they were fairly good. They didn't hold up quite as well as I wanted to. So, 2 or 3 years down the road, when I decided to upgrade again, I went with Daiwa Tatulas. And they were fine. They just didn't really fit in my hand as well as some of the other reels. So about 3 years ago, I decided to go with all Lew's, and that's what I've been using for the past 3 years. So over the past 3 years, I've been using the Lew's Speed Spool. These are the BB1 Pro series. They're all right-handed. Now I can throw and cast left-handed as well, reel in left-handed. It just feels a little awkward to me. Now I know there's benefits because, I do cast with my right hand, and then when I do want to reel, I have to, take the reel and put it in my left hand so I can reel with the right. And, the most efficient way is to be able to throw that bait in and be ready to set the hook and ready to reel without making that switch. But for me, it feels more natural. So that's just how I do it. You may be different. I'm pretty accurate, but I look silly. I feel silly reeling left-handed. So we stick with all right hands. They're all high speeds. I like to be able to control the speed of the bait. I know that all my reels are going to be high speed, and I just know that if I want to slow that bait down, that I can control it, how fast I reel that bait caster in. But if I need that extra speed, if I need to get that slack, or if that fish is moving towards me, having that higher gear ratio always helps. Now don't get me wrong, when I'm deep diving crankbait or something that's really digging in, that 5 to 4 whatever gear ratio is going to help you. But for the most part, all 25 of these are going to be 8-to-1s. I only own one reel right here that's a lower gear ratio when I am deep, fishing deep diving crankbaits. So when you're dealing with such a sizable investment, I find that it's real important, if you're going to use the same reels and you're going to put together a system. I'm not talking to the guy that's got 5 or 6 bait casting reels. I'm talking to the guy that has a big investment and they're worried, because what happens is if you keep using that reel for 4, 5, 6 years, eventually it's worthless. Eventually it's going to get too beat up. Now I've kept these reels in very good shape. There's a little bit of boat rash here and there, but they've been thoroughly cleaned. I got a buddy, I'm going to send you the link below in the description if you're interested in getting some of your reels cleaned and serviced. He does a great job. He's very reasonable. His name's Brandon. Check out the info down below. I'll give you I think he's just got Facebook. You can reach out to him if you want to get your reels professionally serviced, which is what I do every year or two, and make sure that they're working good and in good shape, and keep me on the water, obviously I like to have my reels in good condition, so it does help to get them serviced. But after 3 or so years, some of the brands have changed as far as, the models. They made some upgrades. It's a little bit different. So that tells me I need to start selling these so I don't lose more value. I should be able to get about $100, $125 for these reels. And so I'm going to go online and I'm going to walk you through how I actually do that. And I'm going to sell all 25, and I'm going to be getting 25 new reels in. And here's how I do that. Because I'm getting 25 reels, I have some negotiating power. You can't do this if you have, if you're looking to buy 3 or 4 reels, it's probably not going to work out. But if I'm looking to make a sizable investment of, say, 25 reels and upgrade every few years, I'm going to go out and talk to a tackle store, talk to anyone that I have a connection with or have good rapport with, and reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I'm looking to upgrade to, X brand this year. I'm going to be, pushing the button on 25 of these. What kind of deal can you work out for me? And usually they're willing to work out some type of deal for you in order to get a pretty steep discount to help, recover some of the cost of that investment. So for 3 years, these loose have been great. I have no complaints, but they're getting a little old. If I go another year or two, instead of $100, they might be worth $75. I know if I go 3 more years, they'd be worth $40 a piece. So I need to sell them now when I can still get a little bit of money for them, and then use that money on my new order. And so like every couple of years now, you can continually have, some decent equipment, that brand new equipment that's going to get you through the next couple of years. Does that make sense? That's just kind of my whole theory on how I upgrade and keep these reels going for me. Now, it's a lot of work. I actually have all the original boxes that they come in, and I'm going to use. I'm going to first put them out on Facebook and try to sell them that way. There's some tackle and fishing equipment buy and sell pages on Facebook. Bass Boat Central is another great place. eBay as a last resort. eBay has a lot of high fees, and then you got your PayPal fees, things like that. Sometimes I don't, if I have to, I will go out that route. But in the years past, I've sold all my reels on Bass Boat Central, actually. So that's going to be the route. We're first going to throw them up on Facebook, and then I expect it'll take about a week to get all these reels sold. And then once I have that money set aside, I'll be able to go out and make another purchase. So let's talk about the baitcasting reels I'm going to go with for this coming season, and they should last me another 2-3 years before I have to go through all this again. But I'm going to be going with Shimano. I've been impressed with Shimano's. I've used their spinning reels for a number of years and never let me down. They're great reels, and a lot of my buddies use Shimano's, and everyone you talk to, Shimano's just a well-known company, and they make some really good reels. And I'll be going with the Shimano Curados this year. All right, so here we go. We're gonna have to sell these reels. So what I do is I take a big piece of cardboard, I lay them out on the cardboard, and then I'm gonna put numbers down on them, and then put them up online, and then people can basically say, hey, I want reel number 6, 7, and 8, or I want reel 12 and 1. Get the point. So it's just an easy way to manage it, and then once one of them gets sold, then below I just list, reel number 3 is gone. So it's a real simple way of doing it. Okay, now that I got them all numbered, we're ready to put them online, and we'll meet back up once these are all sold and the new Shimanos come in, and we'll break that box out and take a look at those reels. All right, guys, it's been a few weeks since that last portion of the video, so we're back. Look what we got. We got the reels in front of us, Shimano Curados. I think I went with 20 of the Curado 200 XGs. They're going to be your, 8.5 to 1 gear ratio. And then I got the Curado 200. Looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4 believe I got 4 of those, 6.2 to 1. I'm gonna be throwing those on my crankbait rods. Maybe allow me to slow down a little bit. In the past, I've always went all high speed and then I kind of dealt with it, but talking to a few folks, I came to the conclusion that we're gonna give it a try. So here's the setup. These reels are awesome, guys. I got a heck of a deal. All right, so obviously I bought in bulk, right? A large order of reels. And so as I stated earlier in this video, I'm gonna source that out. I'm gonna try to find someone who's gonna hook me up, get me a great deal that I feel comfortable with, where in a few years I'll be able to flip these reels again and not lose so much money on this big investment. So I contacted Jamie down at the Dugout Bait and Tackle down in Georgia. I'm gonna put his link to his Facebook below in the descriptions. So if you guys wanna place a large order or just look at some other tackle, he's your guy to go check out. All right, let's get these out of the way here so you can see what's going on. Obviously, I'm gonna have a lot of a lot of line to spool up, get them matched up with the right rods, and it's a process, obviously. But good thing is, it's still cold outside. So the Curado 200 XG, 8 to 5, real smooth right out of the box. So if you look here, it's real simple, and most reels are the same. Or you know, have some type of braking system, whether it be magnets. Here we have four buttons that we can adjust the tension here. I guess they're set 2 open, 2 off, which is probably a standard position. Then there's a little knob here to fine tune that, and then of course adjust the drag. And then we can adjust the tension here as well, which is important. I should do a video on how to set up a bait caster, because it is important to get these things set up right. I talk to a lot of people that are nervous about going to a bait casting reel, or they have a lot of questions because they may have experienced a lot of backlash or trouble casting it. It's all about how you set this up. And today's bait casters are so, I mean, listen, if I was throwing something real light and I was getting a lot of, having a lot of issues, I might, and I'm fairly new at it, I might put all these on, put all the brakes, or maybe leave 1 off. And then the adjustment here goes from like 1 to 5, the fine tune adjustment. I mean, you have to experiment, but maybe stay on 3. And then of course this knob here, which actually controls the tension on the spool, you can work with this a little bit if you're new, to really allow that bait to not free fall so quickly. Now, if you're more experienced with a bait casting reel, you're gonna obviously wanna tinker with this here a little bit more. That's gonna allow you to be able to flip and cast and make some precise pitches once you get comfortable with a reel. But that's a whole nother video in itself. So guys, I'm really excited to be using all Shimano products. This is actually the first time that my spinning rods and my bait casters all were from the same company. You know, of course I've been using the Shimano Stratics on my spinning rods for years and love them. But this is gonna be a really cool addition. I'm looking forward to using these reels, putting them to the test. And I'm gonna be straight with you guys how these do hold up. I'm pretty sure they're gonna hold up. But you know me, if something's wrong with these things, you know, 2-3 months down the road, I will let you know. But for now, man, let's start putting some line on. Let's get ready. Leave any likes and comments below, guys. And as always, until next time, we'll see you guys on the water.